and welcome to the FOMO Creator Show. My name is Making Sang, first name Making, and today we are going to be talking about how to create content for your lurkers. Now, the FOMO Creator Show is all about generating that fear, that buzz, that excitement, and FOMO in business is a good thing. So if you want to know how you can generate that buzz, that excitement, that FOMO for your next event, for your business, product, service, book launch, your digital challenge, your festival, your conference, you have come to the right place. Now, as I mentioned, today we are going to be talking about how to create content for your lurkers. Now, this is something that I talk about quite a bit. When I am delivering trainings, when I'm delivering mentorings, I'm teaching people how to be FOMO creators, or I am publicly speaking about how to be a FOMO creator, or how you can generate that buzz, excitement, and FOMO. And whenever I say create content for the lurkers, people do giggle. They do giggle, and they know exactly what I'm talking about. Now, what creating content for the lurkers is about your vanity metrics. I can't even get my words in today. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, a lot of us, when we first started in business, we probably had a look at how many fans and followers we've got, and we get excited when we get those fans and followers and LinkedIn connections and so on. But that's not the end all and be all. We still need to talk to the people who are followers, give them great information, start conversations, start building relationships with people. And so these are what we call vanity metrics, because on their own, they don't do enough. Okay, so it doesn't matter if you've got 10,000 followers on Twitter. If you don't talk to them, it's useless, right? And we've got the fabulous Elaine Hughes saying hello. It's lovely to see you here, Elaine. Lovely to see you. I hope you enjoy this episode today. So, as I mentioned, creating content for your lurkers, it is not about your vanity metrics, but we need to know who are our lurkers, which is the next segment of the show. And it's really funny because there's actually different types of lurkers. There are lots of different types of lurkers. So I'm actually going to go through a few of them today. Now, when we've got our fans and we've got our followers and connections, and when we start posting things onto the socials, then, our favourite social media platforms, they'll tell us how many people it's reached or how many impressions it has gauged. And so, we may see that a post has gone to 24 people, 200 people, 24,000 people, however many people you have got in your community. And you might get excited about that, but who are they individually? We don't know who they are. And so there are another level of lurkers that you may get in your Instagram stories or your Facebook stories. Now, fortunately for us, when we see people in our stories, we can actually see the people that are lurking on our stuff. So they haven't actually commented, but we've viewed them, and that's great because it enables us to have a bit of a conversation with them potentially. But then we've also got our LinkedIn viewers and our audio listeners. So if you're on Twitter Spaces or you do LinkedIn audio, again, we've got people who are listening, and so they're a different class of lurker because you get to see their name. So they may not contribute, but that they are there. And also our podcast listeners as well. There's been a few times where people have mentioned that they've seen my podcast. I'll talk more about my podcast later. They've listened to my podcast, and it's only because they step forward to explain that they have listened to them that I know that they're there. But they haven't liked, they haven't subscribed, they haven't added a comment. These are these are why there are different types of lurkers. We've got the fabulous Elaine saying that she's a lurker. And the thing is, Elaine, we're all lurkers, to be honest. You're a lurker, I'm a lurker, we're all lurkers because we get so much information that's passed us by, and we have a quick read on LinkedIn or on Facebook or Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, Threads, Instagram, whatever social media platform you're on, TikTok, Snapchat, if you're down with the kids. We've probably looked at something, really enjoyed it, but did we take the time to say thank you or add a comment? We probably didn't, because we're probably scrolling on to the next thing. And that's what I mean, when it comes to us being lurkers, we're all lurkers. We're all kind of guilty of doing that from time to time. And we've got Francis saying hello as well. Lovely to see you, Francis. Absolutely loved your insights last week. So, if you've got any thoughts, do please share them. It was really great to converse with you live whilst we were talking about film marketing, weren't we? Now, we've also got other types of lurkers as well. We've got our fans, our followers, our connections. I've mentioned those already, and these are the ones that we don't know about. They might have seen our content, but they've not liked, they've not shared, they've not commented on our posts. And I know that sometimes we may feel a little bit dejected, and we may think, oh gosh, we haven't got any likes, we haven't got any shares, we haven't got any comments. But hey, don't worry, don't feel dejected. Just keep on pushing that content out there, because if you've got a really important message to put out there, I know Elaine does, and I know Francis does, keep pushing that content, the great information out there, because it will get to the right people eventually. Now, creating content for the lurkers can do so much for you, and that's the next segment of my talk today. So, why create content for your lurkers? It can do so many things. It can create content for your lurkers can get you conversations. Okay, if you keep posting really great information, whether it's a blog post, whether it is a photograph with supporting text, whether you do a video, whether you do a podcast, whether you do a live stream like this, whatever it is you do, keep putting it out there, and eventually you can get into some great conversations. You can actually invite people and slide them into your DMs, or they will impromptu go into your DMs as well. I had a great conversation with someone. Actually, I was lurking, because I said we're all lurkers, right? And a couple of weeks ago, I was lurking on someone's stuff, and this lady was saying that she was going to a conference. Well, you know that I am a FOMO creator for conferences. And so I said, oh, what's this conference? Tell me more. And so she actually introduced me to the conference organizer. And so we slid into the DMs and we had a great conversation. So when you are a lurker, you can actually have great opportunities that you push yourself out there to try and invite people into a conversation. Or if you are creating content for the lurkers, then your lurkers, when the time is right for them, they can slide into your DMs and get into a conversation as well. So creating content for the lurkers is just an amazing way in which you can get your lurkers buzzed and excited about what you do, and when the time is right for them, they will slide into your DMs. Frances is just adding here, she has made so many connections from doing this. It's even led me to getting a referral for a job. Well, that is fantastic news, Frances. And, getting into the conversations, sliding into the DMs and having a conversation, especially on LinkedIn. LinkedIn, we know we're there to make business, we're there to make an impact. And so, you do get a lot of unfortunately, you do get a lot of spammy DMs, unfortunately. But from time to time, you can get into a great conversation with someone. And as Francis has demonstrated, the conversation has actually led to a referral as well. So that's what creating content for the lurkers can actually, can do for you. Now, creating content for the lurkers can get you noticed. Because of the relationships that I've built up with people, because I consistently post content about what I do for the for my lurkers, and I am constantly showcasing how creating FOMO for your events can get you to, sell tickets, build relationships, raise awareness about your brand. It gets you noticed, as I've said, and so I am proper proud to announce that I am an official SBS winner. Now, SBS is an amazing small business Sunday community that was set up by Theopathetis. And every Sunday between 5 and 7 o'clock on Twitter or on Instagram, you can put up a post to explain who you are. And Theopathetis and his team will look through all the tweets, all the Instagram posts, and then they will select a few winners. And I'm so chuffed because I got selected as a winner. And I did that because I actually had built relationships with people. I got to find out what kind of things I can put out there to try and become a winner. But I was also, it was also recommended to me that, you may need to give it a few goes because, it's very, very popular. So I was expecting, to go in every Sunday and try and, try and win that accolade. Unfortunately, I'm so pleased. Theo and his team must have liked me so much that I actually won on the first time of trying. But if it wasn't for me building relationships with various people who were previous winners, then I probably wouldn't have had the information I needed to actually apply. Now, the other nomination that I've had is the Women in Tech Awards, which is actually happening in October. And I've been nominated by someone for the Tech Professional Award, in brackets, non-coding. So I am so honoured to be been nominated for that. And in fact, the fabulous Khalid Kareem, he nominated me. He tried to nominate me 3 years ago, and I just got imposter syndrome. And I said, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not good enough. He tried again last year. He said, no, I think you should. What you're doing is great. And I said, no, I'm not. No, I couldn't possibly. And this year I decided I was going to step out my comfort zone. And I said, yes, okay, it would be an honour if you nominated me. And so he actually went through and spent a lot of time in putting in the application. Unfortunately, I got shortlisted, which was amazing. So, in creating content for the lurkers, it piqued the interest of Khalid. We've been on great chats and great conversations, and then he deemed me amazing enough to nominate me for an award, which is amazing. And Elaine is just saying congratulations there. Thank you so much. Now, what else can create content for the lurkers to do can do for you? Well, it can get you publicity as well. I mean, traditional publicity as well as online publicity. So I've just talked about being nominated for SBS. And also the Women in Tech. But it also can get you traditional TV and traditional radio or magazine features as well. And so this is just a couple of photographs where I lived in Australia for 6 to 7 years, and I was invited to be part of a pilot show, which was the Great Australian Barbecue, which was incredible. And then when I came back to the UK in 2016, I think it was, National Tea Day, I was invited to be part of the Sky News Sunrise team, where we talked about National Tea Day, because my first business was in tea. So my first name is May King. My business is called Making Tea. Making tea. Get it? Now, those two features on TV happened because I created content for the lurkers. And in establishing myself as a keynote speaker, one of the top 50 recommended speakers of tea in the world, but showcasing my expertise on the socials, I was then invited to be part of the TV program. in both ways. So creating content for the lurkers showcases your expertise, and you never know where that leads. It can lead you to extra publicity. Now, what else can it do? Well, it can get you prospects and clients as well. And these are just a list of just some of the prospects who became clients as well. And again, all of these people, all of these clients, they were lurking on my stuff. Some of them have been lurking for, for 6 months, 6 months, 18 months. Some of them lurked on my stuff for just a day. But the point is that when you create content for your lurkers, and don't get worried about how many connections, how many, how many fans, how many followers you have, how many, on your posts, if you've got no comments, don't worry about it, because someone will have seen it, because the social media platforms will have sent it out to a certain number of people. And you never know who is watching, as I say. And finally, last and certainly not least, but creating content for your lurkers can sell tickets. So whether it is a book launch, a product launch, a service launch, whether it's a conference, a festival, whatever it is you are doing, if it's something that you do on a regular basis, whether it's next month or whether it's next year, it can help to sell tickets. My fabulous client, Andrew and Pete, they have a conference called Atomicon. They run it every year. And so I've been their FOMO creator ever since it started in 2019. And the fabulous Pete from Andrew and Pete fame, he often tells me that the best time to market your next event is at this one. And so I've started to echo that, to clients and to people that I deliver training for. And so, that's why it's really important to hire a dedicated FOMO creator to generate those tweets, Instagram stories, LinkedIn posts, Facebook lives, Instagram posts, whatever platform you are on, you can create or hire a dedicated FOMO creator to generate that buzz and excitement for you. And if I just go back to the slides there, just wanted to draw attention to a couple of the pictures at the bottom there. They're just a couple of screenshots. There's a fabulous lady called Katie Stone, who is a PA and a VA as well. And in the little interaction that we had, she said that it was your FOMO creation of Atomicon that directly led me to buying a ticket for this year's event, which is incredible, right? And then over on the right-hand side there's a couple of ladies who were responding to a question. And the question was, why did you sign up to Atomicon? And both of the reactions of the two ladies there, both business owners, they both said FOMO. In fact, one lady said utter FOMO. So if you create content for the lurkers at your festival, your digital conference, your book launch, or whatever it is, if you create live FOMO, this is what I call live FOMO, then it gets your lurkers excited, and then they just cannot wait to book onto your next event. So this is why creating content for your lurkers really works. Now, the last bit then is how? How do you create content for your lurkers? How do you do that? Well, there's lots of ways. And what I'm going to say to you right now is to feel the fear of FOMO it anyway. Now, the reason I say that is because a lot of us, and me myself as well, we sometimes get a little bit scared, don't we? And we worry about what to post out there. We think, oh, what if we don't get any likes or shares? What if no one is watching? And the thing is, if you've got an important message to put out there, then if you don't put anything out there, no one's ever going to know. And so, your lurkers will have nothing to lurk on, will they? So I'm trying to encourage you to to be more visible, to produce more great information to share for your community, for your fans and your followers. And it doesn't matter if they do not engage, because some of them are watching. And as I've said, some of my clients have got back to me after I've live tweeted for a day, but some of my clients have been watching my stuff for 6 months, 18 months for one of my clients, actually. And, when the time is right for them, they will slide into your DMs. Now, I'm just going to show a little quick video. This is just a little reminder to me, just to give you a little break. Back to the FOMO. And this is just a little quick summary on what we've talked about. Now, you will have heard me, if you are a regular viewer of this FOMO Creator Show, you will have heard me talk about FOMO bridges the gap between social media and PR. And over on the left there, we've got a fabulous poster of The Truman Show. Now, for those of you who haven't heard me talk about it before, great, I get to tell you again. It's amazing. The Truman Show is an amazing film, and way ahead of its time, actually. Produced in 1996, Jim Carrey was the main character, and he was being filmed 24/7. And the watchers, the viewers, it was like a soap opera. People got hooked. They got absolutely hooked on what he was doing. Now, we have the potential to create our own Truman Show, but I don't mean record ourselves 24/7, because that would be boring. But we do need to show a little insight into what we do as whatever line of business we are in. We need to show our lurkers what we do. We need to showcase that we are a leader in our field. We need to show the impact that we have made on our clients. We need to show a little bit behind the scenes of what we do as well. So in creating our Truman Show, being more visible, feel the fear and FOMO it anyway, then you are going to get your lurkers so buzzed and excited about what you do that when the time is right for them, they will slide into your DMs. So if I can just bring up the Truman Show back up again. Basically, FOMO is really about social media squared plus PR squared. It's like my little formula. And basically, what I'm encouraging you to do is to post more, share more, and engage more. That's all I'm encouraging you to do. So what you do on social media is brilliant. Keep doing that. But we need to do a little bit more. We need to share that impact, really get to, as if our clients were talking to us in front of us, they were stood in front of us having a conversation. And what would you say to that person? That's the kind of content that you can put out there. Francis was just saying, I love that movie. You are right. It was way ahead of its time. It really was. And yeah, as I say, we've all got the potential to create our own Truman Show. We're not actors, though. We're not Oscar winners, BAFTA winners. It doesn't matter. But as long as we show up, as long as we share great content, it doesn't need to be on video. It can be on a LinkedIn post. It could be a photograph with some text. It could be a tweet or an X, whatever you want to call it. It could be a thread if you're on Threads. Whatever you post, it needs to be, it needs to be good information that your lurkers will get buzzed and excited about, so that they'll want to know more from you. Now, I do hope that you enjoyed my little episode today on creating content for the lurkers. And it's now time for FOMO Shoutout and Shameless Plug Alert. So I'm inviting you, Elaine, and the fabulous Francis, just to add another comment, just to let people know what it is you do. I know what you do, but I want to tell the world about what you do. And I would love to, give yourselves a little bit of a plug for, as a way of thank you for tuning in and contributing to my show today. Just whilst we do that, I will go back onto the shameless plug alert, which is my my little piece, which is My podcast. I mentioned that earlier at the top of the show. The fabulous Amanda from Spiderworking fame. So she's on Spiderworking on all the socials, and Amanda Webb on LinkedIn. She is an analytics ROI specialist. So she likes to get geeky with your stats and help you to understand your stats, whether that is from your website or from your socials. Now, we have a podcast called The Extra Shot. It's based on Amanda's digital coffee show that she has, where she actually talks about 7 different pieces of news, digital marketing news throughout the week that she selects. And the whole show is to help us to, catch up with the latest and greatest in all things social media, but maybe learn about the updates that has happened as well. And on our podcast, we actually talk about one piece of news that we were really attracted to and have discussions about it. Sometimes we agree, sometimes we disagree, but all in good faith, because we are wonderful friends. And I just wanted to draw attention to episode 6, which was released last week. And we actually had a special episode called Watch Out for the Lurkers. Actually, it was released on Monday. So if you go to marketingpodcasts.net, you'll be able to search for The Extra Shot there, or wherever you listen to your podcast. So we're on Apple, we're on Google Play, we're on Spotify as well. And Amanda is a big fan of creating content for the Lurkers, and she actually explains why in that episode. And it's actually led her to a lot of clients. Her digital marketing show she's been running for years, but she gets a constant stream of clients who refer to her episodes, and yet they've never liked, they've never shared, they've never commented on her show. So she is constantly, every Friday, without fail, creating content for her Lurkers. But she goes into a bit more detail about that as well. Now, as I mentioned, it is the FOMO Shoutout, which I talked about, and we've got the fabulous Elaine Hughes, as I mentioned. Do connect with her on LinkedIn. She is a disability inclusion consultant for luxury brands and hospitality. And she creates bespoke, interactive, theatre inspired workshops for DIEB. How amazing is that? So, if you want to know anything to do with disability, equity, and inclusion, diversity, equity, inclusion, she is a disability advocate as well. Definitely go and contact Elaine. Thank you so much for taking the time to write that, Elaine. And the fabulous Frances, who also tuned in live as well. Frances Iller, she is a events producer and has had 12 years of hybrid events. How amazing is that? So she wasn't one of those flybys who just decided to become a live stream producer when the pandemic hit. She's had 12 years of hybrid events experience. So you definitely need to go and catch up with Frances as well. Thank you so much for sharing what you do, ladies. It's great to see you here live. And I'm going to go back to my shameless plug alert. Because this show's all about me, isn't it? No, it's not really. It is a little bit about me, though. I am so excited about this. I am going to be the chief FOMO officer for Martech Fest, which is happening next week. It is a hybrid event, actually. Frances, you'll be pleased to know it is an in-person event, but also we've got an online event as well. Martech Fest, you can find out more about it in martechfest.com. Now, Martech means marketing and technology brought together, and it is it's actually three conferences put into one. So you've got the Marketing Technology Expo that's happening. So there's a lot of exhibitors that you'll want to talk to there. The B2B Festival and also the Festival of Email. So all those three conferences all rolled into one. That's happening in Utrecht in the Netherlands. So I'm going into the Netherlands next week. Proper excited to Utrecht. Never been there before. But as I say, the conference is also online as well. Now, as their chief FOMO officer, I love that title. I'm going to be interviewing, I'm going to be tweeting, I'm going to be their MC as well. So I'll be MCing some of the speakers, which I'm very excited about. But I'm also going to be having a lot of fun. Martech Fest's mantra is to network, to make amazing connections, but learn from incredible speakers, but also to have a lot of fun as well, which is amazing. So, this has been the FOMO Creator Show. I am your host, Making Sang, first name May King. Thank you so much for joining, Elaine and Francis. Thank you for joining live. And if I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Now, where do I press that little button? Oh, here we are.